Good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Andrew Wilson here with an update to the forecast, as we always like to do. Now on Wednesdays and on Sundays, we like to do updates to keep everyone updated on the forecast throughout the week. I'm glad everyone's joining us for today. We have a lot of fun things to talk about, including our first really significant cold front of the year. Still some activity going on out there in the tropics. And then also we are keeping a track on how dry it's been recently. We could use some rainfall out there, and are we going to get it this week? We're going to talk all about it coming up. Looking at the radar right now, you notice that it is dry out there. They have some shower activity over towards southern portions of Arkansas, stretching really all the way up into northern Arkansas. Pretty much most of the natural state dealing with some rainfall right now, with the exception of a spot there in the Ozarks where they are having a little bit of drier conditions. So it is dry here in North Georgia. We are seeing a lot of sunshine. Here's a time lapse from the airport this morning. A lot of blue sky overhead, just a beautiful start to the day. And it's still beautiful out there this afternoon as those temperatures continue to rise thanks to all this sunshine that we are dealing with. Now, there have been a few more clouds compared to this morning that have started to move in as we've headed throughout the afternoon time frame. Expect that to continue for the rest of today. Looking out from our Georgia Tech tower cam, absolutely stunning. Beautiful shot of downtown there as we continue our way throughout today. Temperatures there will be rising into the 80s. You see that we're at 84 right now in Canton, 79 in Marietta, 82 in Atlanta, and 82 in Duluth. Meanwhile, it is 81 in Peachtree City, Thomaston, and Covington. So still going to see these temperatures go up a little bit more as we hit throughout the next few hours. Hot day. Temperatures just above average for this time of year. We should be sitting in the lower 80s to upper 70s this time of year. We're going to be rising up into those mid 80s for most spots this afternoon, and a couple spots could even hit those upper 80s. 84 is what we were at here for the past 2 days. Notice that is just above average. What you're seeing here is a graph of all the temperatures over the last 30 days of the lows and highs. That blue line, that's our average low for this time of year. The red line is the average high. Notice that as we headed throughout the middle portion of September there, we had temperatures hit 93, well above average. But we haven't hit 90 degrees now in quite some time. It's been probably about 20 days or so since the last time we hit 90, and it's possible that we're done with 90s for the year so far. Notice that we're not going to be hitting it at all this week. I accidentally skipped ahead there in my graphics. We're going to talk more about the 7-day forecast here in just a second, but you see that there is going to be a big cool down. So far this year, we hit 90 degrees 66 times. That is above average. Nowhere near the record, though, set back in 2019 where we hit it 91 times. So we are thankful, at least for the fact that we aren't dealing with anything in the way of 90s, but it would be nice if we get some cooler air in time for maybe even this weekend, right? And with some crisper air, something that feels a little bit more like fall. And if you hit the daily tab after you download the 11 Alive app, you'll see that we're going to get that. We're going to let you know how cool we're going to be in here in just a moment, as well as how dry that air is going to be, how comfortable it's going to be outside. Don't forget to download the 11 Alive app. It can be great for updates whenever you're on the go. Notice it's showing those temperatures, again, rising into the mid 80s at times this afternoon here for the Atlanta area, cooling back off into the 70s and then eventually 60s overnight tonight. You can get current conditions, a look at the radar whenever we do have rain on it, and you can watch newscasts live as well as send in your weather wow moments. You can also download the 11 Alive Plus app on Roku and Fire TV. Watch extended updates on those news stories that you were really interested in, and also extra weather updates like the one you're watching right now. So let's get into the forecast. Forecast track shows as we head throughout the afternoon, again, temperatures into the mid 80s at times overnight tonight. Temperatures will be dropping back down into the 60s. Going to be a mostly clear to partly cloudy sky. Nothing too bad out there. Some spots will be dropping down into the 50s, by the way, overnight tonight. And then we make our way into tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures back into the 80s for highs. Going to see a little bit more cloud cover, and that's going to be ahead of our next front. We have a significant cold front that's going to be moving through here on Friday at 7:30 a.m. You see that there's going to be a few showers out there. Winds are going to really start to switch out of the north as we head into really north-northwest by the time we head into Friday evening and then into Saturday behind the front, and that's going to be bringing in the cooler air. Take a look at the upper level pattern. This is just one of our weather models showing a big dip in the jet stream that's going to sweep down some cooler air from further off towards the north. That's what you're seeing right here. That's the winds coming down from the northwest in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and a big dip of cool air across the eastern half of the United States. For fall weather lovers, that is exactly what you want to see. You want to have that big sweep of cool air down our way, and it's not just going to drop down our temperatures, but it's also going to be less humid outside. But also, look at what it's going to do to our temperatures. 70 degrees for the high there on Saturday behind the front. 68 on Sunday, 71 on Monday. The average high is 79. So yeah, we're above that for Thursday and Friday, but we are going to be well below that average high as we head into the weekend and then into early next week. It's also dropping down our dew point. Now that's what we talk about whenever it's humid, uncomfortable outside. We talk about dew points. When you're talking about dew points down into the 40s and even 30s, that's really comfortable, pleasant air. Great sitting outside weather. Take the kids to the park, head on out there and explore the in a Beltline, anything like that. You are going to absolutely love it, but you may need a jacket because, again, it is going to be a little bit cool out there. Now, unfortunately, we're not getting a lot of rain with this front. You notice we have a 20% chance for rain on Friday. That's about it. We're hurting on rainfall. We finished up the month of September well behind average. So far in October, we haven't had any rain. Of course, we've only had a few days, right? But we could use a significant rainfall to really soak into the ground and help keep us away from any fire danger, which is going to be, I think, possible as we head into Friday and Saturday after this cold front passes through. If we don't get a significant amount of rainfall like what we think we're going to get, not a lot of rain at all, then we could end up seeing some fire danger move in for Saturday. Again, a big player in the fact that we are so needing rain is the fact that we didn't really have any in September. Look at September. We finished up more than 2 inches behind average on rainfall. Yes, August was above average, but look at July, June, and May. We were behind average there. There's only been 4 months so far in 2023 that have brought us above average rainfall, and you see that we are more than 5 inches now behind on rain for the year in Atlanta. We need more rainfall. We have had abnormally dry conditions move in here for parts of North Georgia as we've made our way throughout the past week. Last Thursday, this is when the last drought monitor came in. I imagine that this is going to expand. We'll see more areas with abnormally dry conditions, more moderate drought, and I think it will expand even more over the next 2 weeks because it is looking like the drier pattern is going to kind of linger on here. Here's how much rain you can expect over the next 7 days. Much of us make it through the next week without a drop of rain. Those who do get rain, it's looking like you'll get less than half of an inch, maybe even less than a quarter of an inch of rainfall. And your best shot for rain, that's only going to be on Friday, a 20% chance there. Dry for the weekend though, so that's the good news, but it will be a lot cooler. Look at those overnight lows on Saturday night into Sunday morning, Sunday night to Monday morning. We're talking about lows in the 40s, highs in the 60s to 70s. Pretty cool for even this time of year. And lacking on the rainfall front again, with a lot of sunshine at least though for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, if you're preferring to have some sunshine and maybe have some outdoor events on those days. Your 8 to 14 day temperature outlook looking beyond the 7-day forecast. And now we're looking into really the middle portion of the month here, middle portion of October. It's looking like we'll switch back to being above average on temperatures. Above average this time of year, that's going to be lower 80s. So nothing too out of the normal. I don't expect us to have temperatures back in the 90s, but it will be fairly warm for this time of year at least. And then you see the 8 to 14 day rainfall outlook. Yes, maybe slightly above average on rainfall, but not really exactly what we need. We need a really good soaking rain to happen here to help us out with some of these drought conditions. And it just doesn't look like we're going to switch into a pattern where we could have multiple days of rainfall, at least anytime soon. Of course, while we're talking about our first significant fall cold front here for this year, it is still hurricane season. Remember, hurricane season doesn't end until November 30th. And we still have Tropical Storm Philippe out there. Right now, the Air Force Reserve hurricane hunters, they are flying into the storm with their C-130s, gathering data to help us perfect the forecast on this storm, which has changed a lot here over the last few weeks. If you've been paying attention to anything that we've been showing here the last couple of weeks, we've shown you how Rena was out there too with Tropical Storm Philippe, and they were just kind of interacting with each other, and kind of one storm was going to win out over the other. Well, Rena has collapsed. Right now we only have this one, and this storm is now expected to go kind of due north. It was expected to kind of go west first and then north, but now it's going to kind of go due north and then head all the way up, possibly even into the Maine area. Something we'll have to keep a close eye on. The good news is it will be a much weaker storm than what we were dealing with here a few weeks ago, that other system that had passed up that way. 60-mile-per-hour winds there as a tropical storm as it's getting closer and closer there. By Sunday at 8 a.m. it will have made landfall somewhere between there and Canada. Of course, this forecast could still change. That's why the hurricane hunters are out there flying this system to help us gather data to try to perfect that forecast. And we'll, of course, continue to keep you updated on it here, but we're not expecting any impacts at all here to North Georgia from this system. You notice that we've gone well throughout the list here for the Atlantic tropical cyclone names for this year. We only have 4 names left on there. You may be saying, well, now we're at the latter part of the season, probably not going to see any more, right? Well, it's possible that we can get more systems named as we head throughout the month of October. Sometimes when cold fronts go way deep down into the Gulf and then they kind of fizzle out as they get down there, sometimes on the tail end of those fronts you can end up getting a little bit of a spin in the atmosphere, and then you could end up seeing a tropical cyclone, typically weaker, form, and then you can end up seeing some more of those names taken up. You can actually look at this chart here, the tropical timeline. You see a little spike in the month of October. That's actually what it's picking up on. Some of those extra names that we see taken up towards the middle to end of October whenever we have some of those tropical cyclones form. We'll keep you updated on all of it, but again, not expecting any impacts from a tropical system anytime here over the next week, probably not the next 2 weeks here in North Georgia. We'll keep you updated all the way throughout the rest of the season on November 30th, though. Weekend getaways showing that as we hit throughout this weekend, it's going to be stunning anywhere you go. Man, look at Gatlinburg. How beautiful is it going to be up there on top of Klingman's Dome, maybe headed up to the top of Mount LeConte, anything like that. A lot of sunshine, dress in layers. It's going to be pretty cool. And then you look down towards the Destin, Florida area. Not bad, a little chilly for me. I'd rather be hot if I'm going to be down on the beach. But you see 80 degrees, partly cloudy, mostly sunny for Sunday, and 77 there by the time you head into Monday. Charleston, Savannah, both looking stunning. Anywhere you're going this weekend, if you're headed out on a vacation, it's going to be a great weekend for it. If you're traveling here around the southeast, that is. A look at the state of Georgia over the next 3 days. Any location here across the state should be nice. Other than Friday, we are going to have some shower activity in spots. And again, it will be much drier and cooler for Saturday across the state. Your Georgia State Park forecast here for Thursday. Notice that we are going to be having the drier conditions continue, and in other words, no rain here for Thursday, but it will be fairly warm. Temperatures just above average, a little bit more cloud cover for the afternoon, and then Friday, of course, we'll get the rain chances, but Saturday and Sunday, I will tell you, it is going to be stunning weather to get out there and hike. Head out to a pumpkin patch, take the family out there, go do a hayride, anything like that. It's going to be just great fall weather this weekend. Don't waste this weekend. Get out there and enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring everything back up to the 7-day forecast. Don't forget that you can catch your forecast starting at 4 o'clock now every afternoon with meteorologist Melissa Nord, and then Chief Meteorologist, Chris Holcomb will be in for this evening with updates on the forecast. And then you can also catch meteorologist Nicole Hartford and myself giving you updates throughout the week and then also on the weekends. And of course, meteorologist Chesty McNeil coming in every morning. He'll be in tomorrow morning with the latest update on the forecast. So I hope everybody can have a wonderful week ahead of them. Of course, we like to do these updates now every Wednesday at 2:30 and on Sundays at 11 a.m. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend ahead of them. We'll be back on Sunday morning talking about that cooler and drier air.